growing up, I was insecure. I was bullied in middle school. Like, it's weird because I was always bullied for the things that now have made me successful in my career, like my height and being like half Mexican, half white. I always felt like I didn't really have a place to fit in. Yeah, you know what people always ask? This is always like an ongoing thing. They just always ask me how to be a model, like where to go from the beginning. Of course, I was like, somebody asked me, "Are you single?" I was like, "No." But
All right, what's going on? We got another episode of Chats with Max. I got my beautiful girlfriend co-hosting once again.
Hello.
Kim Rose over here. And we got the wonderful Bella Golden in. And she is a successful curve model with Wilhelmina in LA.
She's hot.
this is too much.
I mean,
like I already can't.
You can say it. I can't. That might be a little awkward.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
But she's successful, so there's something to that. So let's say that. We met you I want to say probably 6 months ago.
Like a year ago. Yeah.
No, I feel
Was
like
it a year ago?
It feels like
it was a long time ago, I feel.
Yeah.
But, we're here together now as like one of those LA reunions where you're like, we're gonna hang out, and then like we see each other, and now I'm like, okay, now tomorrow I'm making plans to see you.
Exactly.
And it's like was funny because we met at like an influencer type event too, and it's like that's one of the first times I was even going to do those kind of things. So that's
really?
kind of cool.
It was one of your first.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So this is all new to you.
You guys were having so much fun though too. They were like, you guys were so cute because they were just hyping each other up and being like, yes.
Well, who? So it was Sophia, right?
Me and my best friend Sophia. Yeah. I love her to bits, and we went together, and we're always hyping each other up. So she's definitely my hype girl.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to do it all.
We
with
need
her.
that. Kim is looking for that right now too. She's been searching for like that girlfriend
I'll
in LA.
be your hype girl. What are you saying? I'm a hype girl for hire. I will be your hype girl.
I love that.
But the reason I wanted to have you in is like you're uber successful, it looks like, and it's so cool to see you climbing up in the world and promoting this super healthy body image along the way. And I honestly, first of all, I just want to thank you for what you're doing because I think girls growing up really need someone like you. And I could even say my sisters didn't have someone to look up to like you. So it's really cool to see you promote that. And like, where did you get that from too?
Well, I think for a long time growing up, like I didn't have that confidence that like, I feel like now you see 14-year-olds and they look so good. Like they have incredible, they know how to do their makeup, they do all this stuff. And it's like, they never had a stage where they felt weird almost. I mean, but for me, I was growing up, I was insecure. I was bullied in middle school. Like it's weird because I was always bullied for the things that now have made me successful in my career, like my height and being like half Mexican, half white. I always felt like I didn't really have a place to fit in.
You were bullied for that because you weren't like a full.
Yeah, it was like for
Mexican
some people, it's like I didn't speak Spanish, but yet I'm Mexican. And then for some people, it was like, everyone has their own little like prejudices, I feel like, in some ways. But I've been really lucky that through my platform now, I've been able to show a really positive, perception of just being yourself authentically, like 100%. But I was like that person that even when I was at my skinniest, I feel like I felt super like an outcast or like I felt, and I would look at myself in the mirror and I'd really like I'd really exaggerate those little flaws that I saw,
you
where
felt like you weren't good enough.
I was like holding on to my stomach roll, looking in the mirror. And it was like, the crazy thing is now I feel really good about what I look like and myself just because of the perception that I've put out there. And I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, okay, like this is just who I am at this moment. Like I'm growing, I'm changing, and like it's all in your own perception of yourself.
And that's the conclusion you came to, like before all the modeling and everything?
The thing that's funny is like modeling has helped me a lot. Like I was discovered to be a model, so I definitely didn't think that was like going to be part of my life, and that has helped me a lot with my confidence because knowing that I had other people looking at me, it was kind of like, it was a way to be like, okay, well, I convinced myself as I was like helping other people through their confidence, and I was trying to like grow through that own process. But I feel like the main thing is when I started to get a little older and I found like clothes I really liked and like feeling really good in my body and not feeling like I had to limit myself to certain things. But through my platform, it's been really neat because I feel like the girls that say that I'm inspiring them are like inspiring me at the same time because they're telling me like they felt like they could go and wear a swimsuit to the beach. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool that because of me, you felt like you could have that confidence to do that. because we've all had that time where we wore a shirt to the beach because we're like embarrassed. So it's been cool. It's been a cool journey. Modeling in general has been a weird journey. I would have thought that it would have been.
We'll get into how you got discovered because that is crazy. I haven't told Kim yet because I wanted to get her natural reaction.
I want my reaction to be she's like, you want me to tell you last night? I was like, don't tell me.
That's
Don't
so
ruin
funny.
it.
Yeah, she wanted to have like an organic reaction, so I'm excited for that.
That's so funny.
So you went into modeling already with a healthy kind of idea about yourself,
Yeah.
but it got stronger as you went on, as you're saying.
You know what I think it was is like I was like 19 years old when I got discovered, and I think if I had done it younger, I don't know if I would have felt like as secure as I do now with my body, because when you're younger, like you're just going through puberty, your body's changing, you're like there's so many parts of that journey that's so weird for people, like just getting hips and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think if I was younger I could have done it, because it definitely is one of those things where you have to be sure of yourself, but it's helped me so much in my life to feel like, before you can love anybody else, you have to love yourself, and you have to just like go about life that way. So it's been weird. It's been weird because it's the same. It's like putting your life like very publicly, and also, you have times where you don't feel great, and then you have times where you feel amazing, but getting to share that with other people in like a public journal has been really cool.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky.
That's amazing. I mean, it's got to feel so good to have that kind of feedback that you're talking about too. Because I know when I get comments from people, say about the podcast, or, you inspired me with this guest or blah, blah, blah. It's like one of the best feelings. And I think you knowing you actually impacted a girl's life with your idea on body image, like,
Or dude.
or guy,
It's true.
or guy.
That's something also that I'm really wanting to work on, because I know so many guys that have told me that they also feel that same pressure to be like perfect, and it's this thing that it's like, it's cool to be a person in media, like showing a different perspective than like the obvious, like heteronormative, like person. I don't know, to show a different kind of person succeeding or it being in like the ads that you'd normally see, maybe with not that kind of person in the diversity way.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's been cool, but I definitely think that everybody deals with those struggles of insecurity.
I even did.
Yeah.
And I like had a thing where like I was kind of seeing what's up with modeling for a little bit, and I got really lean for a photo shoot. But as I was going through that process, I got like an unhealthy idea about myself.
Maybe an obsession about the kind of thing, or just feeling like
It was like an obsession, and then it was also becoming an unhealthy relationship with food. Like I remember I was working at a coffee shop and I splurged and had a couple cookies or something, and it was a bad time. Like I actually I was like, man, like I would look even more shredded if I just like barfed this stuff out.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know
I thought
that.
about it, but I never did it. And I was like, what is going on? And then when you look back at yourself a couple months later, you're like, who was I?
You're like drinking
that
the
was
Kool-Aid, and it was
crazy.
just like not that shocking of a thought to you at the time.
And I'll even bring that another step forward with a girl's story. I had a model, Katelyn Lawson, on who's signed with Photogenics, and she had a story when she was coming up. She was on a fashion show in Huntington Beach, I think, and these models were backstage doing their thing before they did their walk, and some girls were like swallowing cotton balls and doing all kinds of things so they wouldn't get hungry.
That's the scary thing, because I feel like I'm so glad that I never had that kind of experience, and I'm still thinking that it's great that the industry is opening up and that curve models, plus size modeling is really widespread, and that brands are looking for that kind of thing in ads. But I still worry for straight size models, or like people that, anybody that kind of puts that pressure on themselves, because I know that this industry as a whole, can be that way. But it's like, I really feel for those people that are going through that, because I'm so glad I didn't have to like starve myself to get anywhere. But, even me though, now I have had that where I feel like, you feel bad when you're full sometimes, or you have this weird, it's like a psychological thing with food. But, it's like you can never put yourself down for just like, it's part of life. Like you've got to eat, you've got to just maintain a healthy lifestyle, whatever that means for you, and you know how that is for you. And your mental health is literally the most important thing. It's crazy because, like you can always go through these different times in your life, and you can lose the weight if you want to later, whatever. But it's literally like, this is just your body, and you're going to be stuck with it for a long time. Give it love and just stay with that,
Which I feel like that's kind of the new wave too. And again, maybe I'll have to fact check this, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, because Max told me that story too, and I was just, my mind first was boggled that not only was there an industry surrounded, but that it was just so normal, I think, because I had some friends that were in the modeling industry too, and they were just saying the amount of pressure that is involved in a lot of this. And so I think it was in Australia, I'm gonna have to double check this, but they passed, it was a new law or something of the sort where they said that a model had to have a doctor note saying that they were healthy.
Yeah, health check before they could do runway or something like
and
that.
And especially there was this one, I wish maybe you can look her up after, there was this one model that like she was like too fat for Vogue or something like that, and she was a stick. Was it Vogue? It was one of those high-end clients, and they told her
Charlie Howard.
I think she was like, basically the lady told her, she's like, you need to drink water for the next day and just like do nothing. And luckily this girl was like, no, I'm beautiful, I know what it's about, and she put them on blast, and it became this whole huge thing.
It just takes a few people to say like that's not the right thing, or that's, there's just, the thing is there's certain like guidelines where in straight size modeling, but I mean, I'm not sure about other types of modeling really. I mean, I'm not an expert in that at all, but where they have to be like certain, hip measurements and things like that. And there's just some things, it's like, that's just your anatomy. Like you can't change that. Yeah. But I know I'm on that point of body positivity where I believe like everybody should have a place in this industry. Just like anybody that has a goal or like aspirations to do something should be able to be allowed to do that. If you work hard, like, and you can get there, like just go with it with all your might. But I'm like, even with now, I feel like the state of body positivity, a lot of people are putting down like people that are naturally skinny. I feel like I see that a lot, or I feel like, there should just be more space for people to all feel like their bodies are beautiful, and that it's not like you have to be curvy, you have to be this, And so we're still working on that. Yeah, we're still working on that in the industry.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into a little bit of your backstory. So where are you from originally?
I'm from Orange County, California, and it's definitely like a low-key area. It's kind of like LA, but chilled back with the beaches. It makes me really happy.
What part of Orange County?
Just Orange, like straight in the middle.
Oh, yeah. I love that spot because I grew up. Do you know where Mission Viejo is?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we would go. They have like cute, like antique type shops and markets and stuff like that
circle.
in Orange, and be like in the Orange Circle. It was like a spot to go to.
I will always love there. Like my dream is just to like move down to Laguna Beach and like have a little beach house, and like I just love living on the beach, and that's why I'm always in my bikini anyways, because I never thought of it as anything other than the fact that I'm just like I need to be in the water.
Like
I'm a Pisces, I'm a fish. I need to be in the water.
I think that's everyone's goal is Laguna. It's so beautiful.
Or just like beach housing, yeah.
We always talk about
this area, beach housing. I mean, Santa Monica for me, I like love Santa Monica, so that's the spot.
Well, we like the idea of Santa Monica because it's still kind of close to LA, you know. But in Laguna, I feel like it's kind of hard to find the right
job. Other side of the world.
Depends on what industry you're in, you know.
Yeah, I'm definitely in LA most of my time and happy to do it because I'm like I get a little piece of both, you know, and I get my family, my friends, and I get to do my job, which I love. So it's a good mix.
So what got you into modeling exactly?
Yeah, it's funny because like growing up, people always said I should be a model only because of the fact that I'm tall. Like that's just what I was always thinking in my head because I'm 5'11", and I think everybody thought I should either be like a model or a basketball player, and I was not athletic. Like, and I would never be like a basketball player or volleyball. I would just like eat it on the ground. Like never would happen.
I'm dead that they said you would be a basketball player's height.
Two polar opposites.
Aren't you 5'11"? Like I saw on your Wilhelmina chart, and I'm like, that's not that tall for basketball.
Maybe. I feel like everybody just thinks that you have to be in sports or something if you're a little
tall. If you're tall, they're like,
I guess you're tall.
I was taller than all the boys.
You're
like, holla.
Yeah. For women's standards, is 5'11" kind of tall?
Dunk 'em. I think definitely. And that was the thing too. When I was growing up, I was just like, oh my god, I wish I was just a little shorter. But now it's like I've been so. Everybody wants what they don't have.
Exactly. No, growing up, I wish I was a little bit taller too.
She wishes she was taller.
I wish that I was tall. I mean, I'm happy with where I'm at.
I wanted to wear that shirt that was like, I'm not short, I'm fun size, but I couldn't wear it because I literally was. But I'm also fun size and tall.
Like, dang it.
But about modeling though, I kind of like never thought it was an option. I don't know. My parents were always like really big into like hard work, and like they kind of just thought that I was gonna have like the typical. I just like always thought I'd have the typical path of like high school, try to get into college. I got into college. I was the only one in my family to go, so they were like excited.
Chapman, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
This is literally like a Hot Ones interview. I'm sorry.
That's the goal over here.
You're literally so good at research, guys. It's incredible.
Power of Google, baby.
I did go to Chapman, and I was like going for filmmaking. I really wanted to be a screenwriter, and I was like pretty positive that was what I was going to do. I was working at Disneyland. I was working there for 3 years, and that was just like what I thought my path was going to be. And my family was so happy that I was in school, and then it was weird because one day I commented on this model. Her name is Iskra Lawrence. She's a curve model. She's like stunning. And I didn't really follow a lot of curve models. I didn't think I even knew what that was. I never thought about even plus size modeling in general. I just saw this girl that like, I loved her message. She was super positive and I loved the, everything that she put out there. And I commented on her picture and like, who even comments on pictures really? Like, I feel like if you're just...
I actually love it. I think it's so supportive too.
I do now.
I feel like girls can be really supportive too. They're just like, you look so great.
But like,
I feel like, oh, sorry, keep going.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say, I feel like more people are gonna start commenting more once likes goes away too.
Yeah. Or once I started telling people the story, people were commenting for sure. Because I was gonna say, because I commented on this girl's picture, me just like private on Instagram with only my friends and family following me, commented on her picture, said I love her message. Her agent discovered me because of that comment. So then a few months later, I ended up being signed with Wilhelmina, and I was like, it's been 2 years now that I've been working with Wilhelmina, and literally like I had no past experience or interest. Like this agent just found me based off of my icon photo and like me commenting. And it's like so funny when you like go back into like the very depths of my Instagram and like it's interesting to see the change and stuff, the shift, how I'm like, obviously I feel like I'm a lot more confident now. And like, I love Instagram. Like so many people say it's like, toxic or whatever, but I use it for my own benefit. And I love creating. So yeah, 2 years later, like my life has definitely shifted. I no longer work at Disneyland and I'm so happy to be where I am now. So it's really weird. It's like, I would have never thought that I would be on like billboards. I got commercials. I've done all this work, but like I'm also now just learning as I've like come into myself more that I can be like proud of the things I've accomplished.
Yeah.
But also like to always just be like a good person at the end of the day and also look forward to what's to come and like, congratulate others around you. Like just have a really whole experience, So yeah, it's been wild.
Wait, I'm still tripping. He's right. I love because when you said she like DM'd you, Max looked at me and he was like,
yeah, the surprise.
Did she
moment.
just like slide into your DM?
That was the best DM that I
That was great. She was like, hi. Well, it's funny because I feel like how did you know it was legit?
Exactly. Thank you so much. I'm always afraid that like, I feel like whenever you hear these things, you're always like, it's a scam. Like when I heard about it, I told my mom, like when I was growing up, there would be like those people at the mall with like a little table that would be like,
Barbizon.
do you want to be a model?
Yeah.
Like,
and they're like trying to sell classes.
And I'd be like, Mom, I want to be a model because I used to watch America's Next Top Model. I never really like had dreams to do it, but I would watch that. I'd watch Project Runway and I'd see.
Tyra Banks is fantastic.
I'd be like, I don't know. And it's like, I've never wanted to be famous or anything like that growing up. I never like thought about that. I just like, now that like modeling is happening, it's been such a cool thing. It's been like everything's been like gravy because like everything I would have thought that I would have done. I just like seeing myself on a website. It's like, oh wow, like it geeks me out. But yeah, I definitely like was a little worried about it being a scam, but it's like I knew of the agency and like I knew that it was reputable because I've heard about it before. But I definitely think it's like when people are, people always ask me how to be a model or how to get into it, and it's like I don't even know how it happened to me. I don't even know how this happened, but I think it's like if you do your research or you see other models that you look up to and like what agencies they're with, you can just submit on the website. Like it's that simple. So
and then I know with Wilhelmina, they have like, or almost all agencies, they have like these open call days where like all the fish come in to get judged and see if they are a good pick.
It's like you might as well go no matter what because experience, it's like it's something that you can look back on and you can meet other people that also, networking. Like
That's
it's so
true.
cool to meet other people that have the same goals as you and, get to meet new people. It's awesome.
It's such a weird feeling though, because I've been to a couple of those and it's like, they're like, you're an inch too short. Or like, just things like that. Like you're just fully being judged to see if you can make it. But that's like part of the game too, because you got to be selling.
If there's an industry where like people, it's modeling where people to like kind of what we're talking about, but it is all looks based, so it makes sense for people. If you don't fit our criteria, then like.
But what's weird is like. I don't know. I always thought that like models looked a certain way. And then like, that's why I don't think I ever thought that I was going to be a model. But then I realized that in like my specific, like niche of modeling. Like people like an everyday person or someone that they can feel like they relate to, or it could be their friend, you know. And like that's the cool thing is sometimes I do go on set and there'll be like other models there, like straight size models, which is what they call the smaller models. And just by the way, straight size and curve models. So it's like versus like I don't know.
I agree though.
My body parts just like slinging out.
Is there curved guy models? I don't think there is.
There are actually, and I know one that
question.
I don't. You know what? I'm gonna kill it right now. I think they're called bronze or something.
They're like buff or something.
No, it's just like, you know, the big and tall models, or like if you see that in like JCPenney, that used to be a big thing for a while, like in the 90s and 80s, like big and tall.
Like a Shaquille O'Neal vibe?
Like almost that vibe. Okay. But like those models are also killing it. Like there's always a place for everybody, I feel like. It's just the thing is like maybe if you went to an agency and you feel like you weren't what they were looking for, you never know, because you might as well like look around or make your own. The great thing is Instagram, you can literally like market yourself and just be like waiting there for people to come reach out to you, you know, like that's totally an option too. But you know what's something that I always thought too, like when I've been telling my friends that they should submit or things like that, and then they get told like, oh, we're not looking for you right now or something like that. Sometimes it's just that there's like other models that like look like them on the board already. Like it's nothing personal
they don't want another
to them.
In on their board, basically.
Yeah, or you know, if they already have too much of the same thing. But it's weird. Everything is weird. Being a human being is weird. But it's like if you don't see yourself represented, like find your place. Like put yourself out there, and it's gonna happen. Like. And I even still, like, I know that modeling is not, like, necessarily a long-term option for everybody. And I know everyone always asks me that. Like, well, in the beginning, I think before I started, like, working more, people were like, okay, well, what are you going to do in, like, 5 years or something? Or, like, what are you going to do when this doesn't end up? It's like, this is such a good stepping stone in this industry. And you can literally make it all your own. Like, with YouTube, with Instagram, with all these social media sites, like, anybody just put out their art. And like you're gonna get a response from the people that love it. So
well, I think it's all about taking momentum and running with it. You know, like when you got the momentum, you need to use it, or else it's just like it's a lost opportunity. You know?
Well, it's one of those like because we were talking about that too, even with just like the whole like influencer stuff like that. We're saying like who's gonna be here for a long time and who's not, because the people, and we notice can kind of catch on, some of the people who are smart are not only thinking about now, they're also thinking about the future. And so be it whatever, like building extra like YouTube or TikTok now, or building a brand or something like that, but something that kind of makes it a little more like thinking just a little bit about the future, which is interesting to see, you know?
And, you know, I never like really was like a business oriented person. Like I loved working, like I worked so many retail jobs, like food jobs, and I worked at Disneyland and stuff, but I was always that person. Like literally since I was 15, I went into Vans and I told them I was 16 because I just wanted to work so bad. I wanted to have my own money, and I worked there for a couple of months before I got caught.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's great. They're like,
and I had to like sign a thing literally that I was gonna get a promotion, and I had to sign a thing, and then I accidentally put my real birthday. No. But I'm not trying to say lie to get success. That's what I'm just saying.
No, but that's another thing. Sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it, in a good way, not in a bad way. Because when I first was getting an internship, and it's funny because Evan and I, my manager, we're onboarding new interns, and one of the criteria is like you need to be in LA, just because there's going to be a lot of things, local supply runs, things like that, where it's just better to have people that are close by. When you have some people applying from a couple hours away, and I was very torn about that, because when I first applied for an internship, I was in Azusa, and it was in Santa Monica, and that was like 2.5 hours away by car or by
if they're gonna make the effort, but they can't be late.
Exactly. But you can't be late. And so I think I said when I applied for it that I was in Santa Monica, and I was like, you just say what you can, and then later on they found there like that I was far away, but if it doesn't affect the work that you're putting in, then it'll be all right. But it's one of those where you just like kind of like test it a little bit. Don't be like malicious in it, but just like hustle a little, think outside the box, you know?
I'm a big fan of that, especially if you're applying to a job and it's like your dream job, but oh wait, it's in New York. Oh wait, it's in LA and I live in Ventura. It's just like apply. Land the job and then figure it out.
Figure it out later. I like that idea too. And like literally the fact that I just like worked all these little jobs, and like now my job now, like I just know that you know, I might end up where I thought I was going to be before. Like, I really would love to get into screenwriting and being a part of like film in general. And like, there's just so many directors and writers that inspire me that I'm like, even now as a model, like I still dream about that later, you know, later. Or maybe now. I need to be more like a now person is the thing I'm realizing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always good to be in the moment, right? But it's good to think about the future at the same time.
I just want to make sure, just checking that we're good on time. Because we want to get a chance to, people ask you questions.
Yeah, you know what people always ask? This is always like an ongoing thing. Yeah. They just always ask me how to be a model, like where to go from the beginning. Of course, I was like, somebody asked me, are you single? I was like, no.
Oh,
but
wait,
it's not important.
I want to run.
Not important for the
I want to run through those just as part of the segment, though.
Yes.
So we'll like.
Well, I want to be mindful of our time. Too.
Yeah, no, I'm watching it.
Don't worry, also, because I'm like, you guys are my most important people. I don't need to do anything.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna keep that. So back about your upbringing. What were kind of inspirations to you growing up, like musically, art? Like, what were you looking up to at the time prior to all this craziness?
Yeah, it's funny because like I never really, even now, like I have like supermodels that I look up to now as a model, but I think my whole life I was inspired by like Frida Kahlo. I thought that she was awesome. I was always like, I actually went to high school at the Orange County School of the Arts. Like I wanted to be an artist for a long time. That's why I'm like big props to Kim, who is absolutely killing it. But even
this
now,
whole cool artistic side, I love it.
it's a secret.
The screenwriting too.
It's secret. Yeah, it's
just
exactly
creative because it goes out in different ways.
Like always loved movies and like looked at movies like I watch it a million times and like I'll look at the little things or I'll be like I'll explain. I'm that annoying person that's explaining it to you as we're watching the movie, like as if you don't get it.
I do that to her a little bit.
But I literally, I love movies and like. For me, I always loved Quentin Tarantino, and I really loved like Kill Bill. I feel like when I saw Kill Bill and I saw Uma Thurman and I saw like a badass woman that was like taking that honestly kind of sketchy narrative of like going back to like Killer X and like all that's wronged her, because I'm like, I'm not condoning violence, but I love the idea of like really turning the tables and like making her the like hero, but also like kind of like falling in love with a villain. It's such an interesting idea. So, but I actually even now, like I just love women that are like rewriting their own like past and like seeing things like with Quentin Tarantino and Kill Bill and like Frida Kahlo, who I love. We love a unibrow queen.
I mean, let's just make it a norm so we don't have to tweeze the middle.
I would love to fully go there. Fun fact, I won best eyebrows in high school.
Yeah.
Oh.
They didn't have that little like thing, but they like made it for me, so I'm pretty proud.
That's
nice.
But yeah, I feel like I'm still trying to like figure out who now I can really like, who could be like a mentor to me. There's a few models, like even a friend of mine, her name is Denise Badeau. She's been a curve model for a while and she's been doing like, I mean, for over 10 years. And, you know, you see like Ashley Graham and all these models that have really like paved the way and like, you know, done Sports Illustrated and done all these cool things. Like it's exciting to be like the first of something. Like I was the first curve model for Lululemon, which was like really cool because I feel like when you think of a Lululemon customer, it's like very specific. So I was really excited to get to like market to a whole new audience.
That's
so
amazing. And props to you. That's a big account.
That was a fun one.
That
was fun.
Did you get all kinds of free
But
stuff?
then, like, I didn't even get free stuff.
Dang it.
Yeah.
But I got an awesome experience, and that's all that matters. I'm not in it for the free stuff. I've just been thinking about in general with free stuff and like modeling how I'm only really taking what I really need, because now, not to go on a whole other tangent, but now the fact that like I think about my climate in like what I'm doing to the climate single-handedly, like flying a lot. I take long baths. I have a lot of trash, so I'm like, I'm just gonna get the packages that I need.
Yeah.
And you know, so I try to like donate things and stuff like that. But yeah,
I feel you on that. Like I feel guilty about recycling every time I throw
I feel
something
like I'm
away.
the problem. I feel like I'm the problem.
Yeah. Like every
You're
time
I'm causing global warming.
yeah,
every
I'm
time
like,
I have
sorry,
a piece of
guys.
plastic that I can't recycle, like those thin plastic bags. Fun fact, those aren't recyclable.
I didn't
Well,
know
that's
that. And
And every time I throw one away, I just feel like I'm like ticking that percentage of like up, climate change.
you're the reason sea turtles are dying. Max.
Exactly.
Okay.
Every
And
time you throw a straw away at a bar, I'm
Turtles.
just picturing a sea turtle like, no.
I'm pretty sure it's a lot of other things.
Oh yeah,
like, it's not just
1,000%. Shout out to Earth Bean Coffee. They have avocado straws, which are fan. It's a coffee shop right out
Thank
front.
you, Earth Bean.
Thank you,
And
Earth Bean
your
Coffee.
kombucha.
Also,
yes.
about the straws too, we were out at a party the other night, and the bartender said we need to ask for the straw, or else he gets like a couple $100 fine in California.
Well, that's cool, I guess. Not for the guy.
Yeah,
but, you know.
not for him. He seemed like a little like stressed about everything. It was like, like, can I have a straw? And he was like, yeah.
Sweet guy.
A straw.
Sweet, wholesome man.
He like spits in our drink.
Sweet, wholesome man.
It's like, no. You guys should see Last Tangent. You guys should see Brian's art. He's got all global warming.
Well, shout him out so people can actually look him up.
BDB, the producer BDB, I believe is his Instagram.
Yeah,
He's
we'll pop
awesome.
it up somewhere around here.
We'll pop it up. But we just went to his show in Beverly Hills last
Track
night.
it on your finger.
Be like Vanna White it, where you're like, woo!
Makes the edits has like a lot of really specific editing requests.
Yes.
It's like
Rob-
my head explode right
Rob's
now.
just like,
He's like taking notes.
shout out to Rob, my boy. We'll shout him out here too. He's the editor for this.
But see, there's all these inspirations around us all the
Yeah.
time.
Okay, but back on track. Did
Can you
have
tell we haven't seen each other?
exactly? Yeah.
Well, this is why we work well, because I'm always rabbit trailing and he's always like, okay, let's hone it back in. So
Wow.
I'm the
Jay-Z
fun
and Beyonce
parent.
Step aside.
Honestly, they were on my vision board this year.
Oh, wow.
Like to have that kind of relationship.
Let's keep saying these kind of things and manifest these things for you, because
1,000%.
it's been weird. Like lately I've been doing that thing where I'm like saying things out loud and it's happening. So
that's what I was saying too. And I told him and I got it on, like, things have been happening, which we'll talk about.
Good
that
vibes.
later.
I strongly believe in verbalizing your goals.
Yeah.
But it has to be to the right people for the most part, I feel like. You know, like the people in that industry, like, yeah, I really want to get like with you. When you go into your agents, you probably say, I'd love to collab with this brand if they ever stand out or something like that, you know?
Yeah, go to the people that are in pursuit of trying to help you or whatever. Yeah.
No, it's
But I always see the good people. People are not that bad. I feel like people aren't as bad as people get reps for. But, you know, it's like it goes two ways. You put the effort in that you're getting back. It's really.
Yeah.
So, you know, coming up with this modeling stuff, did you have a light bulb moment? I'm guessing you dropped out of Chapman, right?
Yeah. So
So what was the light bulb moment where you're like, I gotta take this
And
full
how did
time?
your parents feel
that was
about
rough
that?
because I was like, it's weird. It's like, you know, when I'm 18, I go to college and I'm thinking to myself, like, this is just the journey that you take. Like, this is just what people do. And like, I never thought of any other option. And for my family, where they were so excited that I was getting into college and that I was going to like do this thing that no one had done in my family, it was definitely sad for them, because they were kind of like, my mom was definitely just trying to feel out what it was going to bring. She didn't really want, I think in the beginning, for me to be going into an industry where maybe people would want to change me or make me feel bad about myself, because I'm an only child and like my family is like very close. I'm very close with my family, and I think they just wanted to have the best, me to have the best life, the best opportunities that I could have. But it's really like cool because I feel like it took a while, but my mom's always going to be like supportive of me, like 100%, you know, and she still gets a little nervous when she sees me in a bikini like every day or whatever. But, you know, she's been really cool, and she's been like the person that I know that I can come back home to, and like she can, if I'm having a hard day, she like makes me tea and stuff, or like makes me feel better. It's such a nice thing. Shout out to my mom. But then I was gonna say,
We need that supportive parents.
it's really cool. And like, I think it changed from like, you know, everybody wanting me to be in college and do that to like, this is still something that's really cool that nobody in my family has done. You know what I mean? Like, this is still a really cool opportunity. I made it worthwhile, and it's been, you know, financially good for me and like my life, and I've been saving my money, and I know that it's a good thing for my family as well. So
So that kind of helped you make that decision to leave school.
it was like at first when I started working more, and I was working a few times a week and like going out to LA a lot, then I realized I was like, okay, well, I'm missing too much school. So then I put school, like I did a leave of absence, and then that leave of absence realized I was never going back, because I started working more and like traveling. Really, like the main thing is if you need a full day to travel to like London or something, you can't go to school and like do the homework and do everything. But it's been really nice to see my friends all graduate from school, and I've been like so happy for them, and seeing like the change and seeing how all of our lives have like really just been different but like come together. And I have like a great group of friends that I've had since. I've had some friends from high school, I have some friends that are models and photographers, and it's cool to have that kind of like everybody has a cool little thing that they add to my life. I add to theirs. It's a bop, really. It's
I love that. So you've collabed with all these big brands, like we're talking Puma, True Religion, Forever 21 too, right?
Thanks for looking. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. So it leads me to wonder though, was there like an inflection point, so like at a point where everything changed that, you know, you went from maybe doing catalog work to all of a sudden you're getting these big Fortune 500 companies to work with?
That was cool because I think, what in modeling, they kind of call it like e-com. So they call it like the e-commerce online shopping is really big right now because, you know, everyone likes to online shop.
Big time.
So when you start modeling, a lot of it is like you're doing really quick, like let's say there's like 75 to 100 things on a rack and you're just getting through it as quick as possible, doing the shots. Yeah. And it's not very creative because it's very like, you know, just trying to show the clothes.
And it's a volume too, you're changing and changing and changing, just going through it all, right?
It's just like literally like work, you know. And then but I still enjoy doing that too because I kind of like, it's like looking at the rack and seeing how many you've gotten done and stuff like that, just going through it. But for a lot of people, they deem like getting into more successful modeling when you've done more campaigns. And so that's like when you look in magazines and see ads, or like even on a website and things like that, when you just see more of a creative shot, you know, it's not like a white studio backdrop kind of a thing. But I've been doing a lot of really cool projects where, like when I worked with True Religion, I started working for True Religion as unrecognizable e-com, which is what they call literally just your legs. Yeah. It's like your legs, or it's like your mouth down. Yeah. And so I started doing that. I did that I got booked 6 times with them because I was working all the time with them, right? Because the team was so fun. They were just so fun to work with, and they were like asking me back, and I was really honored. And, you know, it was like funny. I was just like having my butt on the True Religion website. And then one day I got an email from my agent that said I got booked with them again, but then I saw the rate was really different. I was like, oh, this is a lot more money. Like, this is surprising. And then I didn't really know what I was getting into. Then I got there and they're like, okay, so we're shooting the windows and billboards for True Religion today. Like, just the window displays, like right when you like walk past the store, right? And it was just me right there.
Damn,
and they weren't saying like, okay, the plus size collection, or because for a long time I was actually modeling in the beginning like plus size clothes, which I still do, because anything basically above like a size 8 kind of is plus size, but even with models, it's like above a size 4 even is considered plus size. So I was like doing that, and a lot of people had like a kind of a problem with like calling me plus size because it kind of minimized some people's experience, which I completely understand. But that's why it was really cool to do a job like this, where they just didn't even call me anything, didn't put me in a box or anything. They just said, this is the model, right? Like front and center. Such a cool like moment for me to have the window and like to go from just my legs showing on the website to like the window and the billboards, and like people sending me like in London and Paris, like sending me like, oh, look at it, you're here.
That's amazing.
And it was cool.
So it was global.
And it was like, it was cool to have that change. And I really love that brands now are incorporating me in, like, let's say there's a group of like 4 girls, they'll throw me in there. They put different kinds of body types, different kinds of people in ads now, and they're not calling it anything, or they're not trying to like put it in a box or anything. So that's been cool. The day too, when we were talking about my family and kind of them wrapping their heads around this, because it's completely different for them too. When I took my mom to see my ad for True Religion at Santa Monica Mall and or the Promenade. She saw that, and then the same day I took her to see a billboard I had with Vital Proteins like on the same street, and it was like she was like and then like crying again
in
and
two
like crying in 2
Aw.
places.
You're
but
like, yes, cry.
it was cool. It was cool
Feel
because
proud.
the whole time I'm just kind of like, you know, I still like, it's just the same as it's ever been in my life. I act the same or whatever, and then like these cool new things are happening, and for my family it's just like wicked. So
Wow.
it's been really
That's
nice.
awesome.
Damn, that's amazing.
It's been
I
funny.
love that. I love that so much. And so I have a question. So do you feel that your agent is the one that books most of the gigs for you?
Yeah,
Or because now
100%.
100%?
Well, I don't know. Well, I was gonna say, I think from the get-go, like my agent's always the one that sets up castings and that gets me these opportunities, or sometimes I'll get immediately booked for something. Sometimes I'm like, you know, being considered for things. But I will say my Instagram now I just have my agent's email on my Instagram, and I feel like that's brought a lot of traffic to my agency too for me. And because it's funny, when I first started modeling, I heard from other models, like, you don't really want to be an Instagram model. You know, like you don't want to be minimized to something, which I don't think is there's a lot of negativity around like influencers and
Yeah.
Instagram models, which I don't understand because, you know, I have like both perspectives of it, being a sign model. And sometimes people still think like, oh, I'm just on Instagram or something. But it's like there should not be. It's a lot of work. Like, I mean, I'm not just saying that from me because I got to go on a brand trip with Aldo in Montreal this year, and I saw how hard working these like fashion bloggers and you know, YouTubers and all that stuff really work, and
Producing all the content.
they're creating a lot of stuff. It's like a 24-hour job. It's like, you know, when I've had other jobs, I clock out and that's the end of my day. But then with these jobs, it's like your name is forever your job and all these things. So I'm like, I have a lot of respect, obviously, for everybody that's working through Instagram. But yeah, that's been able to get me like a lot of business through my agency as well. I'm like, I still put my work on there, but I still am like, I can show my personality in a great way. I could always bring them back to my portfolio on the Wilhelmina website.
Yeah,
But
and you even have some of your portfolio in your highlights too, which I thought was really smart.
Thank you. I was like, this is a way that I could put it on my story because I feel like in general, when you post it on your page, people might think it's an ad, so they like scroll past it. But if you put it on your story, you know, I have like the different jobs I've worked. It's been a way for people to get to see what I've done.
Yeah.
She almost has like a landing page for her. Was it like a one sheet? Is that what they call it in the industry or something?
What is it? What? Sorry.
I don't know. Like your sheet, like how Wilhelmina has.
Oh
her
yeah,
sheet.
yeah, like
What is
a
that called?
portfolio.
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
I don't know.
Portfolio. So basically, I don't know if you've seen, but
Pictures.
Us being like Max, am I right?
It's basically like she has her portfolio on her Instagram though. You can swipe through and see Forever 21,
That's
Puma,
awesome.
like all these different companies
Oh, that's
that she's
super
worked
cool.
with.
That's been
Like a
good
highlight
idea.
reel type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it saves.
And then just my page is just like thirst traps, but it's like it
what's
works.
that?
what you gotta
Oh no,
do.
exactly.
And like you were saying, I find it really funny that people try to look down on Instagram modeling because I know for a fact at castings, a lot of them ask about your following.
I used to go to castings and they wouldn't, in the beginning they were like, not everybody, because it's still not really like that all the way, but there's some brands that were like wanting to cast people with 10,000 or more, which was weird. It was like, what a weird backwards thing. But now I've been, when I hit like 100,000, I'm like, I'm good forever. I'm like really good, honestly. When I started,
Like,
you're like, I don't really know
when
if
I
I need
started,
that
I just wanted the K, you know, everybody wants their like little thing. But I feel like it's just, for me, I like the people that stick around or the people that even like when I first started posting and stuff are like still there. I think that's so nice, you know, and everybody feels that way. It's like, those are the cool people.
So when it comes to, what were you going to say?
Oh, what I was going to say. So the reason that I asked is really cool because remember when we had Color by Felix in, so there's a lot of parallels to the modeling world as there are to the art world.
Yeah.
So there's the traditional way where you get with an agency as a model or as an artist, you get with a gallery. So a gallery is kind of the equivalent-ish, I guess if you could say, of an agency because they basically, they get you clients, they take a bigger percentage.
Believe in your work. They have
They
it there.
believe in, they have it there. And it's very like case by case. It's like any other type of relationship. And so versus the Instagram artist, and it's really interesting because it was the exact same thing. I met up with one of my professors and we were talking about galleries. This is when I was like, okay, I want to do this. I have a pocket of money. What should I do next? Should I like get a studio? And he had a lot of good advice, but his main thing is he said a lot of galleries will look at Instagram artists with a large following and say that they are cringy. Now, I don't think that he had seen my stuff before, but I mean, and he was an interesting professor because he would be like, I love it, but I hate it. And no one knew what to do with
stuff.
stuff.
You had a class with him.
I did have a class with him, and it's interesting because he told me not to use gold because it was tacky.
I'm like,
But
looking
now
at
it's
this
like my forte.
I have
yeah.
this in my home.
Yeah.
Now I'm using the real thing.
My last
so
name's also
whatever. Oh yeah. Like I am not
name's
tacky. Thank you very much. But it's really interesting to see kind of how things have changed, and even so, we started doing it purely through Instagram, and now we're dipping our toes into the gallery world a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's been a huge asset and all that. So I think it's just like be you, and the right people will come along. The right agency, if it is right for you, is meant to be, will come along. Because some galleries, like they would hate an artist for that, but others would love them for that. And
I'm
same
like,
thing with modeling.
Yeah, have like two different like ways to make your money and have your business.
Yeah.
Like it really doesn't even have to all mesh together, but it's been cool because I've gotten different opportunities from each thing. So I've been happy to do it, but I really like the Instagram community, and I'm like, I'm for it. And when I roll my eyes when people laugh at people taking pictures, because I'm like, just let them be them.
Yeah,
like let them
have
live.
fun. Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Why are you that upset?
Yeah. Cambios it is.
When it comes to social too, like what's your strategy with it? Like, was it like your thought process when it comes to maybe creating an Instagram post or like other apps as well? God,
Yeah,
I can't think of the word over
And
here.
do you think you grew? Did you have to push for growth, or did that just come to you?
In the beginning, I started with probably like for sure under 1,000 because I was like private and it was like my friends and family and things like that. And then when I started posting, I just looked at the other creators that I really liked and like what they were doing, honestly. And I was like not trying to emulate them 100%, but just like I was inspired by them.
Yeah.
And I definitely noticed the trend of like people that posted really often. I feel like I saw a lot of engagement with that. So I post like pretty much every day or every other day. I try to post as often as possible. But I also still do, like, if I feel like it's not natural for me, like I was posting a lot where I really shared my thoughts on body positivity and being comfortable with yourself. And, you know, some days I have those days where like I could have a really long caption and really talk for a while about it. But then there's some days where I'm like, I really don't feel cute today, or I'm like homesick and I'm just posting a picture. Yeah. And it's still like, I always share that honesty on my stories and I talk about it, but it's like, I still think that it has to be whatever's natural for you. So if you just don't have anything to post, you don't have to, you know, it's like whatever feels right for you. But what I've learned, if I can take like a few pictures, let's say like I hang out with my friend Sophia or like a girlfriend or something, and we can go a few places and like whatever's natural for us. Let's say we're going to go to lunch, we're going to go to the beach, we're going to do something else. We will both like bring 3 outfits and we will take a picture at each place. And basically you have like a week's worth of posts there, but you did it in one day.
Yeah.
That's smart.
And then you can even also take like the same outfit but just change it a little bit, whatever, like, you know, make it work for you. I was making the problem before was that I was like, you know, having every single day, every place I went, I needed to take a picture, when in reality, just choose your moments because you still want to have your own real life and happiness. And I've made everybody in my life my personal photographer, which like some people aren't going to like, you know? Yeah, it's like, no, exactly. You know, it's like, and my boyfriend started out not really enjoying taking the pictures. And then I would say, this is the thing, so many people don't really get like, how it's like a full-time job. And like, it seems superficial from the outside. I get it. And even like when I'm looking at it, I'm kind of like, okay, does it really matter? But for me, it does. If it's your own happiness, whatever. And like, I was telling him, I was like, okay, so if I could help you with your resume, like write a resume to help you get work, like I would do that. I would do whatever it takes to help you. And so when he helps me with my pictures, like it helps me a lot. And now he's on the ground. So
yes.
On the ground in regard to what? What do you mean?
No, I mean taking the picture.
Oh, wow.
He's on the ground.
She got him trained, basically.
He's dead somewhere because
I
got him for not taking a picture.
I've done that a few times too, Ken.
No, I get it. As long as it can go both ways. He likes getting his picture too, even though he's not modeling or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. It's
just
funny.
for fun.
We live in a weird world.
You guys are an Instagram couple. I love it.
But I would say too, where I got to like 10,000 followers right out the gate, it was weird because I must have like ended up on someone's explore page because I one day woke up and I had this article that was written that said top 15 curvy models to follow. And I was like in the article as long as like with like Ashley Graham. How do you see these things? This person.
That's so cool.
With like Ashley Graham, all these like top curve supermodels. And it was definitely like a surprise. And I went and I sent that like the writer a message on Instagram, and I was like, just to let you know, like, thank you so much because it's gotten me already like a lot of following. Like it really like helped me a lot, and it was so nice of you to feature me. And then because of that, she had said, oh, I've never had anyone reach out to me before about articles that I've featured people in. And then after that, like a few months later, she featured me in something else, like plus size clothing hacks or something.
Look at you doing PR.
And then, but then eventually she wrote an article, like an interview all about me and about my start. And that's what that article was about, how I got discovered with Iskra and like my whole journey. And that article has been really like, it always gets resurfaced and a lot of different news outlets have picked it up. And then that's really how I just like keep getting like more like big chunks of followers from the different social media sites. But I think also making sure that like your pictures look really great in the little square crop. So if they end up on explore page, like people will click on it.
Yeah.
That's also helped me a lot. Like if it just looks good
like
in the crop.
formatting so it looks good in the square.
Yeah. Or like not choosing a picture that doesn't look great in the square.
Yeah. I had to be conscious of that for watermarking things too, because some of my photos were rectangular and the watermark would be at the bottom. People
Like
would
they were
crop it
4x5,
square.
like a vertical.
Yeah, and they would crop it and my signature wouldn't be in it, and that's how a lot of things got like not
Gotta-
credited and stuff like that.
Gotta get your credit.
That's like Instagram is like a double-edged sword where like sometimes it's good, but then other times you're like, dang it, that got so many impressions and no one knows. Like it's not.
I knew.
Yeah, I knew who it was.
She's got you.
I'll always know.
Yay.
So what have you struggled with when it comes to modeling? Because I'm really fascinated in always hearing people's stories about how they overcome adversity.
I feel like now I'm really thankful that the industry is changing so much and there's a place for everyone. I feel like in general, when I first started, I was hearing from a lot of people like, actually, they don't really cast models that aren't a size 12 or a 16. And when I started, I'm at like a size 10, 12 now, but when I started, I was like a size 8 and I was younger though. And that's just like how your body changes and stuff. But I was always being told actually the opposite of what you'd think of modeling. Like, a lot of people would say, oh, you have to be skinnier to be this model. But for my part of the industry, they were always saying, if you gained weight, you'd do better.
Really?
And I feel like it's like, I don't really know how that even healthily can happen for people, but I was always kind of feeling like, okay, is that what I have to do? And then always kind of like looking myself in a weird way, or like I really from the beginning compared myself a lot to other models, like because it's your body is such a personal thing, and like weight is such a personal thing where like everybody gains it in different ways or carries it in different ways. So I was like looking at other models that were like shooting beauty campaigns and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, they have like the perfect like chiseled jaw, but then how are they like bigger than me but then carrying it the right way? And but even now, like, because I'm Hispanic, like I have hips and like I like my body type, but a lot of people are still upset because they feel like a lot of the curve models have a very specific body type, and I might even like be considered part of that, but like I really feel for the people that are part of the plus size community that like still can't find clothes that really represent their personal style. Like there's still a lot of work to be done, and I feel for the people that like their body types aren't hourglass and aren't represented, but so yeah, part of my struggle was comparing myself to people, but I feel like everybody's comparing themselves. And then now I feel pretty good about where I'm at. I don't feel like I compare myself. I feel like I'm just very like, I just have to be like, let it go. And like, whatever wasn't meant for me is just not, what I didn't get wasn't meant for me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just go with that. And I've been okay with that. And I've been good at the beginning. I was like, if I'm not working this many times a week, I'm not like doing as well as this other person.
Yeah.
But I was comparing myself to people like 2 years into modeling with people that have been doing it for almost 10 years. So it's like, I have to know that I still am part of, I'm still growing and I'm still working.
That's part of that ambition.
Yeah.
Though,
Well,
so I totally get that.
Yeah, and it's good. Everything's good in moderation because it's good. You don't want to be complacent and be like, okay, cool, I'm good.
Yeah.
You want to keep growing, but you also don't want to do
Put
it.
a lot of pressure on myself, though.
Yeah,
I think
you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to do
to where
too
we like feeling
much.
happy about where we're at when we're super.
Why
blessed.
is it like our
Yeah.
generation though? Because I feel like everybody sees people like you see like this is a random example, but Billie Eilish at 17, like literally mega famous. I think that we just since we've grown up with media changing and social media being a big part of our lives, we've all felt like, well, why am I not traveling the world? Why am I not like famous yet?
We're comparing ourselves to the
And,
1%, right?
Yeah, and like I mean everybody feels that way, and it's just the weird thing is you just have to be like eventually it'll be my time, and I feel like that's just something that we're gonna have to like grow into, and like as you get older. I love the fact that it's like my 93-year-old grandma like does not care what anybody thinks and is just like honestly such a cool lady, and like if we can just look towards the people that inspire us in our lives and just chill out and like know that time will come,
Yeah.
but still make your goal boards.
Yeah.
We're set.
I'm a fan of the vision boards. 'Cause
Yes,
I've realized
2020 vision board.
when I don't keep
Yes.
my goals like
New Year.
somewhere visible in my room or on my phone or whatever, like I'll lose sight of them sometimes. I'll just like kind
Yeah.
of get into a repetition with something else.
My favorite thing though is just looking at the vision board and just crossing it off when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm ready for the next year.
Yeah.
So Bella, on these shoots with modeling, life in general lately, have you had any like funny or awkward stories along the way?
Yeah, I have had a moment. I was filming the first commercial and last commercial so far, but the first commercial that I have shot that was throughout the UK. It was for Simply Be. It was just me dancing, literally for the commercial, on this like set, and I was wearing a denim jumpsuit, and I was like on set dancing, having a good time. Honestly, like very jet lagged and confused because I flew in literally the same. Like it was like I flew in and like I got in at like 1 a.m.
You went to where?
To London.
Oh, casual.
At 1 a.m. And then the job was gonna be in like 6 hours. And I was like, all right,
like,
here we go.
Fine.
Here we go. And I was
That's how
I
you
was
know you
so
do
excited.
something right, though. That's like the hustle right there.
The hustle is just exhaustion. Exhaustion. I love my bed. But I was doing the job, really enjoying myself. It was such a good day because I have so many good days on set. Like everything is so fun. Like the people, I've always just loved the behind the scenes of things. Like I've loved going to like Universal or Warner Brothers and seeing like where they film things. And like, I love that, right?
Yeah.
So when I started modeling, I just loved being on set and seeing how things are created and like the people behind one image. There's like 25 people working on it. It's crazy. But having a great time with all these people, and I was dancing, and then I like did a weird dance move and literally like ripped my pants. Like, you know, like the SpongeBob, I ripped my
I was
pants.
just thinking of that.
Larry the Lobster. And I literally like I ripped my pants, like the jumpsuit. They only had one jumpsuit that they tailored for me because the other jumpsuits didn't really work. Thankfully, we were like almost done shooting, so they were like, "Okay, we'll just like end it there." And so I actually got to leave early. It was a great scenario.
Like,
I don't,
yes.
but it's
Like,
funny.
did it on
'cause
purpose.
I always bring like a Polaroid camera with me, like to everywhere, and take all pictures of the shoot. And so I have a picture of just like my bare butt with just like ripped up the top. It was kind of embarrassing, but honestly, I've learned that part of me is just always going to be cringy and clumsy and all of these things. So I'm like, I'm not really even embarrassed by myself anymore. But remember when you're like young though, like when you're like 11.
You're like, don't look at me or
you're
I'll
like,
die.
I'm going to jump out of my skin.
You'd get
I'm
sick,
so embarrassed to be here. Yeah. But I'm doing pretty well to be embarrassed now. My senior quote was like, you cannot be great until you're ready to look foolish. It was by Cher.
Ayo. Get it.
Cher with the words of wisdom.
I think we all need that. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. People like it. People are normally not that embarrassed by it, so it works.
So the rip was at the top of your pants, though?
The rip went from...
Max is like, tell us about
So
this
let's
rip.
talk about the perimeter of the rip. Anyways, it went right up the crotch, folks. Right up towards the back. Because I think I tried
In
to
the back or the front?
It was the back, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that could make things awkward.
But we were,
the front
we were
would be awkward,
serving
too.
you seamless thong panty energy. So it was an exposed moment. But
Wow.
happy to do it. Anything for my fans. Just kidding.
Yeah. anything for the fans.
I just wanted to like show a little something, something.
you know what I'm saying?
In the UK, they were like, "Oh no, what you going about there?" They were like, "There's a rip.
Her pants ripped.
It's a disaster."
So that was an awkward story. So tell me about the proudest moment you've had so
Okay.
far in life, with work.
I'm just like, I've been happy. Every job brings a new cool thing that I hadn't done before. So like this year I got to do my first beauty campaign for Ipsy, like, you know, those boxes that come with makeup in it. That was cool. And then I've also done skincare for Rodan Fields. And I like these things because for a long time they weren't casting curve or plus size models for it. They weren't just even thinking of them really in general. And like to get to do those have been really awesome. And to get to like kind of this year, so it's my second full year doing it. The first year I had like a few billboards for like Vital Proteins and True Religion, and I did like all these different jobs for like Nordstrom's and Target and like a lot of different brands. I got to work with LPA, which is a brand that's through Revolve, which they have really beautiful clothing, just like beautifully made dresses. And like I just love getting to wear things that like are just your dream dresses or your dream outfits. Like getting to wear that and model that and feel pretty and for the day is just really awesome. And every job has brought me a lot of cool new opportunities and met so many nice people that I will like always get to work with and, you know, have a great time.
Yeah.
But this year, definitely, I think now that I kind of know what I'm doing a little bit more, or that I just feel better about what I'm doing, like I really feel like I can do it. Yeah. And also looking towards the future, like that's been a really good thing for this year for me, is like the growth of it all and just like really coming into myself, working on myself.
So just kind of reflecting on what's happened over the last couple of
years.
years.
Because it's like I feel like there's a lot of things that have been really cool, and that I love when people go, "You've been killing it." Like I feel like I don't have any tattoos, but I feel like I'd want to get a tattoo that just says "killing it." But like I would never though. But
You're like, I wouldn't, or
I
would
wouldn't,
I?
but I really want to. Maybe
Like,
I already
but
have it. Just kidding, I
maybe.
don't.
On my ass, I don't know.
Exposed. But I'm just like, I'm looking forward to the future, and like I'm really in this place where it's like I'm happy to reflect on things and feel good about myself, but I also am like, I don't know, I'm not really even in the place to brag anymore. You know, I'm like, I'm happy with what I've done, and I'm just looking forward to the future. The new year is going to bring so many cool things. Like I'm going to get to meet with some really cool people that I never thought that I'd get to meet with. I can't say what it is.
Ooh, NDA.
We can't say what it is.
NDA
On
alert. That's when you know it's big. You're
Not
like,
even official. It's just that I'm thinking in my head. I probably shouldn't jinx it, but it's like, you know, I'm
was knocked
excited
on the
for the
wood.
things.
by the way, if you're confused by the table, Kim, why don't you tell them about it?
Oh yeah.
So one day I wanted to
Stunning.
experiment with texture.
Yes.
And so I was in the black hole of YouTube looking up how different people, like mostly like woodworkers and like people in construction and shit like that, learning how to do stuff like concrete and sand.
Yeah.
And there's a Home Depot nearby. And I was like, do I have a surface that I can paint on? And I look at the table and I was like, oh. And I was like, I can practice on this. So it's not done. I'm just experimenting right now. But I told Max this morning, I was like, oh shit. And I was like, just so you know.
It reminds me of cream cheese, but it's also concrete.
Yes. It's, oh yeah. Especially with like this shit going on over
This
here.
reminds me of a tangent that we don't need to go on, but I've been loving watching Nailed It, like, or those shows about
Yes.
like, cake. I want to make a cake. You
Really?
guys should have a segment where you guys we just make baked goods and like
that's an
or
idea.
cookie decoration.
Oh,
Invite me back.
Dang, we should have done that. We should have done that for Christmas,
And
like
an
little
easy
Christmas
bake?
gingerbread
Like right
men.
here.
Yeah. Oh my God. Easy bakes. Me eating Play-Doh for like several years as a child. calling it
Like, it's fine.
nutrition. Yeah.
It's good for me, mom.
Yeah. Great segues.
Yeah, that's the story of the table. I could have just gone, it's an artistic statement. Brian liked the table. He was like, you should.
I'm
keep it like
I'm
this.
kind of a fan now. I see it in person. I would want to see it like cleaned up a little bit where the brush marks are. But
Oh,
besides that,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
Well,
Are
because
you
what
an
I
artist
wanted to
then?
go
A little
for
bit of
was
a-
like,
a
he's
critic.
a curator. He's a critic.
Everyone's
that's
a
all.
critic.
I am.
Well, this is
It's
how-
bold, brash, and belongs in the trash. Okay. Okay. I was just thinking.
and belongs in the dress.
The 15th SpongeBob reference that I've had today.
Honestly, it should be a drinking game for somebody listening. Take a shot every time we make a SpongeBob reference. Be fun.
3 hours later. Anything you would tell yourself about the industry if you could go back 5 years?
Yeah.
5 years ago, wasn't even a model. So I would tell myself, can you believe that you're going to do this? And I would definitely say, even just a few years before, like to not put so much pressure on yourself, because so much of this job is not even up to you to decide. You know, it's like whatever somebody's thinking in their own artistic way about what the marketing campaign is going to look like or whatever it is. But I'm just excited about the fact that like I never used to think that I could be like, I always think of this as like a job, and now I'm thinking of it like more as like a lifestyle and like where I'm gonna go from here. And I'm just excited to see where it goes. But I definitely would tell anybody that's like looking at modeling now, the biggest thing is confidence, because even like just going into a shoot, like you just have to feel like 100% that day, and you have to know that it's like you're like a rock star, like you're good, like it's really there. You don't have to listen to what anybody else says, honestly, because a lot of times when there's negativity, it's someone else's own issue or their own, insecurity.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, really, if you're not the government or my mom, don't tell me what to do. So I'm like,
Not
Yeah.
on a t-shirt.
taking it a day at a time, and I'm like just still excited to see what's to come. So,
Yeah, 1,000%. Do you have any tips like for other people just on how to keep that positive mindset? Because it's one thing to say like, oh yeah, I feel
be
'cause
happy.
everyone
Right.
everyone has
You're like,
these
how do
days
you
where you
do
look in the
that?
mirror and is like, fuck, I don't feel cute today. And like everyone has those days where you're just like, I don't feel cute. But how do you have any like things that you tell yourself or things that you do to kind of help get you in a good mindset where you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird. It's like I brainwashed myself, but what it is it's funny because it's like I really remember like looking at myself in the mirror and being like, oh, like I was just literally, I was saying like holding on to like stomach rolls, like looking at myself like gross. And now it's like I love watching. Thank you. I love watching models like Bella Hadid and like Barbara Palvin and like models that are like not even curve models, but like the way that when you see them on set, like they'll do a little behind the scene video, they really like own it. They really like are so even if they're maybe faking it, they're so confident in themselves and really like owning themselves. And I'm like, for me, wearing clothes that really make me feel cute and like that I love, and not being limited to certain things, just like really embracing like my own style, and like looking myself in the mirror, like putting makeup on that makes me feel cute. Like, I don't know, like just if you're not happy with what you see in the mirror, like make yourself, like convince yourself into like loving yourself. It's like really an interesting thing.
Like daily affirmations almost, right?
Yeah, I've done a lot of that where like I'll write little notes lists in my phone where I'm just like, you know, you're worthy, you're good, like you're strong, and you're a good friend. Like think about all the things that you are that aren't physical also, I think about all the time. It's like, because you're not just your like body, like, and a lot of people, as you get older, you start to realize that, but it's like, if you just start thinking of yourself as like, these are the good things about me, and like there's, even if I feel like at my lowest, I still know that I'm like, this is just part of my, think like what you can do to get yourself past it. Like if you're really not happy in your situation, be like, okay, well, I want to get together with my friends and like just have like a nice little powwow that we can like talk it out. Or like, I just need to watch a movie and cry tonight. Or like, don't put yourself through it. Cause I also had a thing for a while where I was feeling like I owed so much of myself to everybody else around me. And like, I felt like, oh, okay, well, if I made plans with this person, I don't want to cancel on them again. But it's like, sometimes if you're just having a hard time, like you need that time to yourself. But also friends, you know, look out for your other friends. Reach out to them. And yeah, I'm like, it's a journey every day, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I feel really good about like where I'm at right now. But it's just about like having a good circle of people around you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
And just doing what you love. And like, I was realizing like, you know, I went to the store the other day and like, I saw these like kids toys and I was like, honestly, I kind of want to make slime. And like, I've never made slime. But then I thought like, that seems fun. Like, just like do something that seems fun to you. Don't like make it, life doesn't have to be this like scary, overwhelming, or like take time for yourself, you know? And just like, sometimes being alone is a good vibe, actually, if it works for you. Yeah.
I feel like you have such a good like support system in your head, and like it's so
my
cool.
head is just a bunch of little.
It's so cool to
me's
hear. No, because a lot of people
around.
need others, but it's like you build yourself up. I know we have others that probably support you, but like it sounds like you have such a good foundation.
I just realized I have to because I'm like,
yeah.
it's really, I mean, I definitely had a time in my life when I was like after middle school where I was really depressed and like I was going to therapy and things like that. And like I still totally believe in therapy. Like if that's just what you want to do, you don't even have to be at your lowest point to go to therapy. But I know that helped me a lot to get through that. But like, I just think that it doesn't do you any service to like really sit in it, because like we're all going through our own, everybody goes through something, you know, and like comparing yourself to others doesn't do much. And like to think, oh, well, I wish I had their life, like rewrite your life to be that, or like to be what you really dream for, like, you know, and you'll get there.
And make it happen.
I'm very lucky though. I'm not going to say that I'm, you know, cause I got propelled into this, you know, and it's not like, I really admire these people that work really hard and they put years of work into it to become a model, and they're still trying to find their place. And it's like, I'm just lucky to have this already. So I understand. I'm like, I didn't do all the hard work, but I'm putting it in now, and I'm like really not taking it for granted, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. I love that.
I love that.
Me too.
Thanks, Max.
So
Thanks, Kim.
what can we look forward to for the future of you? I know you said there's a lot of NDA stuff involved. And where can everyone find you at on socials and everything else?
Well, I'm starting a YouTube channel officially. It's been a long time in the making, and it's
We're gonna hold you to it now.
Yep, hopefully by the time this airs, I'm going to have my first YouTube video actually, because I filmed it. I just need to put it up there. But it's at Bella A. Golden on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Twitter is a mess, but come on over. Instagram is really like where I post things I really care about, and you can always feel free to DM me. And if you have any questions about modeling or about anything, I'm always like reading my DMs here to help people out. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then you guys make sure to follow the podcast at Chats with Max on everything. Subscribe, do all the things.
Keep chatting.
Yeah, keep chatting.
Keep
Chatting in the comments.
listening. Anyways, Bella, it was a pleasure to have you in. Thank you so much. And I'm super excited to hang out soon with you and Sophia.
I'm going to talk for another hour now with you guys. So.
I love it.
Thank you so much, you guys. You're so cool, and I'm so excited to like see where everything goes with you. And I'm so excited to like go binge right now. All the
yes.
Yes. All right. Well, that's a wrap, guys. We'll see you next week. Kim, any closing words?
Stay foxy. Los Angeles.
Catch you later.